I'm Mindi Abair. I'm on BackstageAxxess.com. This is where the real show begins.
We're here at the She-Rock 2015 Awards with Mindi Abair, Grammy-nominated Mindi Abair. How's it feel?
I gotta say, I'm over the moon. I mean, it still doesn't feel real, but I know I get to get a kick-ass dress and go, and win or lose, I totally win. I get to be there with, you know, so many people I admire and I'm fans of, so I think it's gonna be an amazing night.
So you'll be getting the, what are you wearing tonight? Oh, what's that? And all the critiquing in that. So are you up for it?
I'm up for it all. I just think it's such a fun night to get together with, you know, your fellow musicians and hang out and get all dressed up and drink champagne and just celebrate music.
Tell us about the record, and, you know, obviously it's doing very well because it's got, you know, Grammy nominated, but tell us about it and tell us about the writing process and all that went into it.
Well, you know, this one's a little different for me. It's called Wild Heart, and I had to figure out a way to kind of put my moonlighting as an artist and a player with my rock friends into my own career. I've always been on the contemporary jazz charts, but my stuff hasn't been incredibly jazzy. But, you know, I moonlight playing for Aerosmith or Max Weinberg or, you know, Waddy Wachtel in LA, and never quite knew how they fit into my career. So this year I've kind of figured it out, and Joe Perry joined me for a song from Aerosmith, and Max Weinberg played on a cut. Waddy Wachtel wrote with me and played on a cut. Booker T. Jones and I did 2 songs together. Trombone Shorty kept Mose on it. So I kind of just mixed it up and brought in friends that elevated me, and they brought some mojo to it. So it's definitely not your father's jazz record. There's nothing jazzy about it necessarily, but it kind of harkens back to those days when sax was as integral of an instrument in rock and roll as guitar. And those days were a long time ago. So
unfortunately.
Yeah, so I figured it's time, like, growl a little bit and, you know, just play with some grit and some, you know, some gusto. Just get out there and go for it.
And when you see bands, you know, like country acts, and they got the fiddle players and violinists and different, you know, jazz or whatever, what do you think about that? Like, you know, all these artists are bringing the string instruments to the forefront. You know,
I think it's
not
great.
Not that the sax is a string instrument, but it's more of a second. It's not a guitar or a drum. You know what I mean?
I think music goes through different phases. You know, it's like you look at bands like the Avett Brothers. You know, bringing back all these acoustic instruments and upright basses and making it cool again. You know, it happens with fashion. It happens with, you know, real estate. It happens with music. And things that are old and outdated come around in a little bit new way. So I think it's fun to bring different instruments into the mix, and definitely saxophone was up for a little remake, you know. It needed a new hairdo or something.
Since Clinton in the early 90s with his sax, yeah, I think it went out after that. So you're bringing it back.
Yeah, I think that, you know, when people hear you play saxophone, it's like, oh, I love Kenny G. I'm like, well, not all of us sound like Kenny G, you know? So it's fun to kind of bring back a little more raucous version of it and be able to rock out, because that's what I grew up with. I grew up, you know, listening to Clarence Clemens with Springsteen, or, you know, grew up loving Heart, you know?
Who doesn't love Heart?
Oh my gosh, no one doesn't love Heart.
Ann Wilson, amazing. One of the best vocalists on the planet. Still 64, and still sounds amazing.
Yeah, I just did the Grammy Women Who Rock cruise with them, and they did 2 shows, and I was just front and center for both. And it reminded me how much, when I was a kid watching MTV, you know, I was a band geek, and I'm playing saxophone, but boy, I practiced that kick. You know, Nancy would, you know, be on guitar, man, she was like a gunslinger, and she just kicked her leg up, and I was like,
on you.
That's cool. Yeah. And I was just like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to be that girl. Like, she's cool. So, you know, I look forward to rocking like them.
For the rest of 2015, what can the fans expect from Mindi Abair?
You know, we're about to go in and record a live record, which is something I've wanted to do for so long, and my band just kills live. They're so much fun, you know, just running around, getting crazy. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity to you know, kind of go for it. We're going to do it up in Seattle. And
Speaking of heart,
speaking of heart, exactly.
maybe they'll come down, Ann will come down and sing on a track, maybe?
Never
Maybe.
know. Put that out in the universe and just see. But other than that, I'm going to be, you know, touring with my band just everywhere. Look for Mindi Abair. We'll be there.
Check it out. She Rock Awards, Mindy.